I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Hi, I'm Luke Ryan for JoBlo.com and welcome to Top 5 Movie Mistakes. Whether it's Citizen Kane or Troll 2, in every movie, somewhere along the way, someone has screwed up. Superhero season is now fully upon us with the release of the outrageous Deadpool and the upcoming Batman v Superman, so let's take a look at some of the films in the comic book pantheon that definitely show a little fraying around the edges of their costumes. And before we start, no, I won't be pointing out mistakes that the filmmakers may or may not have made with this next film, we're just looking at what's on screen.
Okay, people are dead.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome, right? Remember when this came out, a solo Wolverine movie? You can't go wrong. Well, yeah, man, where to even begin? Number 5, towards the end of the film, Stryker, the man who made Logan into the Wolverine we all know and love, shoots his creation straight in the head, twice. What a prick. When Logan comes to, we see the 2 bullet wounds very clearly on his forehead, the wound on the right slightly above the one on the left. Yet when he sits up, in the very next shot, the 2 bullet holes are now completely level with each other. You'd think they just, film those 2 shots at the same time? Number 4, after Logan has gone through his transformation in the film, he takes a brief refuge at an old couple's farm, and the old man asks him to test out his motorcycle. They make a point of highlighting how the adamantium has made Logan much heavier on the suspension of the bike.
Man, you're heavy.
Yeah, I put on a little weight recently.
It's a nice little plot beat with a fun line to button it at the end, but not half a minute before that, when Logan was already sitting on the bike, he stands up and the bike doesn't move an inch. Number 3, now this one is a little bit more subjective. When Logan is testing out his claws in the old couple's bathroom, his first time really looking at them, they just look terrible. I mean, you can see the claws wobbling slightly, not moving in exact sync with his knuckles and hands, but just in general though, is this an X-Men film or Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Alright, okay, fair enough, so it's not really a mistake, something that has always bothered me. How about another mistake? Okay, this one's easy. When we first see the old couple who own the farm, they're driving across a bridge down the road. This is supposed to be set in Canada, where they drive on the right side of the road, yet it was filmed in New Zealand, where they drive on the left. Well, looks like they took that into account and made sure the car was driving on the right side of the road. Good job. Thumbs up. Oh, but wait. Yeah. They seem to forget that there's actually an arrow on the road clearly indicating the correct New Zealand side to drive on. Number 2, there's been many rumblings about a Gambit movie for a long time, but his live action debut was here, and right off the bat he's involved in a couple of mistakes. When Logan, and indeed us the audience, first encounter Gambit, he's got a nice little young offender's mustache going on. Before long though, he sends Logan flying out of the building and a fight breaks out. And apparently in the 10 seconds it took Gambit to follow Logan outside, he had the time to have a nice little shave. Yeah, his mustache is gone. In fact, all of his facial hair is significantly shorter. Now, I've been accused of nitpicking with these videos, but come on, how simple of a detail is that to not screw up? And what is it with movies and facial hair mistakes, man? Number 1. So what is the most glaring mistake in X-Men Origins Wolverine? The one that makes me scratch my head more than the fact that we actually see Charles Xavier walking around as an old yet digitally smooth-faced Patrick Stewart when the timeline from X-Men First Class clearly shows he was paralysed at a young James McAvoy age, and yes, I'm also aware that this applies to X-Men 3 and by Days of Future Past, this is all meaningless anyway. Well, you've already seen it. There's no elaborate setup here. When Gambit smashes Logan through the brick wall of a building, boom! Massive hole. Cool, nice action scene. But when Gambit follows him out, the hole is like 3 times smaller. He can barely get his body through. I mean, I could understand them being off by a few feet if they had to replicate the wall elsewhere, but is it really that hard? And this is just small fry as it is when it comes to the head-scratching moments in this movie alone, and I really don't need to explain myself on that, do I? Yeah, you know what? Just leave this film on the shelf and go and see Deadpool again. Do yourself a favour.